Hello there. My name is Jordan. Um, I own this YouTube channel. I'm currently running it with my girlfriend, and it's been pretty fun. We've been uploading a lot of dog videos and kind of having fun like that. And this video is going to be a little different. Um, I don't know if anybody will even watch this video, um, but I just wanted to talk a little bit and do a little like video journal. I just want to talk about my life a little bit, and especially my life in the past like month. Just kind of put my thoughts out there, just for myself. So, um, just a little about me. I've been on YouTube for a long time, and before we did this dog thing, I tried YouTube a couple different times. Did a little bit of some trick shotting back in the day, but I mostly did for the past 10 years I've done funnies and fails with my friends. Tyler, Vinny, Jacob, Joey, Alex, Adam, Casey, um, Trevor, even John from back in the day. Though things aren't so good with that, because who knows why. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about how things have been going for me lately. And I'm just gonna start about a month ago, and about a month ago, we were having some difficulties with my dog. I was a little worried. He was being really aggressive towards my girlfriend, and so I wasn't totally sure, like, what path I was going to have to go down, I wasn't sure if, because he was doing, like, standoff, like, full on, like, growling like he was gonna hurt someone, and I was like scared. I was pretty scared. So, because like on one hand, like that's my dog. That's my dog. But Alyssa's also my person. And so like I want her to feel safe inside my house, and so it raised some really hard questions, and we did a little bit of reflection, and we are going to send him to a behaviorist. But in the moment, I was really wrestling on whether, like, what my options were. I didn't know if my dog was going to be too aggressive, like, where he might have to get put down, or if, like, a behavior management could be done. Important context to this is that just prior to this like week, and especially prior to the situation with my girlfriend, Jupiter, who's my dog, he had bit me in one of the mornings when I went and laid down with him on his bed, and I was like taken aback. I mean, I completely didn't expect it. He's had some aggression issues, and like he does let you know with like growling and like letting you know beforehand. I sleep with noise canceling earbuds in, and so I think maybe I just didn't hear him give me the warnings, and maybe he was a little upset, and he bit my hand pretty good. But it's fully healed now. But that event is important because it shaped the decisions that were being discussed. Especially when it came to like euthanasia. Like I was just worried because it had gotten, in like basically 3 weeks time, we had so many incidents of like aggression, that I was starting to like lose hope. I just didn't know. I didn't know what was going to happen, and I was like worried for my dog, and worried for myself, and worried for Alyssa, and worried for my other dog, or our other dog, Brody, you know? And so we were in the process of calling behaviorists and kind of figuring out how much everything was going to cost. And, my girlfriend had placed a couple calls on February 17th to some behaviorists, and we're gonna try to get in to see one. My money was going to be tight for it, but we were going to try to get in to see one. And we'd also been having some car issues. So Alyssa had her car at a dealership, and it was getting looked at. And around 5 o'clock that day, we went to go pick up her car from this auto shop. And I drove her there, and I decided to take the dogs for a drive. Just like a ride in the car, along with us. And so we go and we drop Alyssa off at her car. She gets her car and she drives home. She starts driving home, and I leave off. This is about 5:10 now, 5:15 maybe. Um, and so I decide I'm gonna go to the car wash because like I haven't been to the car wash in like a couple months, and my car could use it. Like winter's ending, and there's a lot of gross stuff that gets on your car from salt in the winter, and so I decided to roll on over to the car wash for the first time in like a year. And I get a car wash, and Brody's not the biggest fan, but Jupiter loves it. He's having a blast. I take a video and I send it to my girlfriend. I send it to my mom, just because like the times had been so rough with Jupiter lately, that I was just I was so worried that had to put him down that I was like in the mode of like, oh man, I just need to live my like best moments now. Like I got to give him the good experiences, and like I got to figure out, how can I give him like this best end of life type, situation. And I know this is all really dark and really like, not positive, but in the moment at the time, that's how I felt like things were going. Like it seemed like to both my girlfriend and I, there was not an easy way out of this. It wasn't an easy fix. And so at 5:30 on that day, I'm coming back from the car wash, and I'm sitting at a light. I'm 2 minutes from my house. I'm 2 right turns away. And somebody blows through an intersection. A gigantic Tahoe blows through an intersection and hits a GMC. I don't know the car model, but it was a blue GMC truck. And that blue GMC truck was in, the complete opposite lane of mine. And I was sitting there waiting to turn right, and the Tahoe had struck this blue GMC truck with such force that it went all the way across the traffic lanes and rammed into the front of my car while I was sitting there waiting for the right turn. And the person in front of me lucked out, and they were able to like go just before I was the second person in line waiting for the right turn. And so this gigantic truck comes and crashes head on into my small like blue Chevy Cruze, and I've got my dogs in the car with me. Fortunately, they were in the back seat, so like they were protected. But Brody was like traumatized by the noise, because it's scary. Like that's scary stuff, and so I am just like taken aback. I'm stunned, like I got hit with like pretty good force, and I just watched this like it's one of those events that happens to you, and it's like, wow, this is like happening so fast but so slow all at the same time. And I was really fortunate that when I got out of the car, I gathered myself, I took a deep breath, and I'll confess to you guys, when I got out of the car, I was pretty mad. I was pretty pissed off. But I only let it fester there for about 15 seconds. I said to the driver of the truck that got rammed into me, I said, dude, like, he completely blew through that light, like, no regard at all. I just verified to him, like, that the light was green for both of us. And for the Tahoe, like, he went through maybe going 40 miles per hour. It was just crazy to witness, and so I gathered myself and took a deep breath. I called 911. I just reported like the accident, reported where we were. Then I called my girlfriend, and I just very calmly told her like, hey, you need to get here like now. Like there's been an accident. And then I called my mom, and I just told her, I was like, hey, here's kind of what happened, because I've never really been in like a severe accident before, but like this is like my first one. I've never even been in an accident where like I have to call insurance and like do all that stuff. Like I've had a pretty good driving career thus far, so this is like the first big issue kind of that I've ran into. And So like called my mom. I was just like, hey, this is what happened, and so she kind of did things on her part. When I crashed, my head hit the steering wheel. It like bounced off the back of my seat and like slammed into the steering wheel. So about 10-15 minutes um, after I get out, and I'm kind of around like taking everything in, and like the firemen are starting to get there, all that. I start to feel really dizzy, like really dizzy, you know, and nobody's really talking to me, like a ton. Like there's the police are there, like they've talked to me and taken my information. My girlfriend gets there probably like 10 or 11 minutes after I call her, which is nothing, like she had just gotten home, and like I don't think she was necessarily like prepared to like, you know, be ready for an emergency response like in that short of a time, So, she got there as fast as she could. She got, and when she got out, she was heated. She was heated, but I just, I just lightly, grabbed her shoulder and like I just reassured her, because like earlier in the day, like we were literally stressing about our car situation and that it could have been, because the car shop told her that her car only had like a couple months to live, and so, she went from an hour earlier, hearing her car would have only a couple months to like live, to my car being completely totaled, and so she arrives and she picks up the dogs, and then she takes the dogs home and comes back. My dizziness and my headache is just getting like worse and worse and worse. And at this point, I've talked with the police and I've got that mostly squared away. So I'm like mostly good on that front. I did forget to get my ID back from them, so they did bring it to me at the hospital. But at this point, I was like, okay, I've been in an accident. Like my head is splitting. I had just recovered from a concussion in December. And so like in my head, I was like, holy shit, like I got another concussion. And so my head was just spinning, both like figuratively and literally, like it was just a bad situation. So I get a ride to the hospital. I say, hey, okay, take me to the hospital, and we get to the hospital, and I'm sitting in the waiting room. They put like a neck brace on me, do the whole thing, and I'm at the McLaren Hospital in Lansing. Terrible hospital, by the way. If you're in Lansing, never go to the McLaren Hospital. It's the worst. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm not saying my problems are more important than anyone else's, but I've got a pretty serious head injury going right now. I've got a neck brace on. My head pain is only getting worse. And so I can't remember if my girlfriend or my girlfriend's mom or someone went up and asked the front desk and was kind of like, hey, where are we at here? Because like I was in a wheelchair, like eyes closed, like I was not having a good time. And, she goes up there and, the person tells them like, well, we don't know for sure, but like there's a lot of people who've been here since like 2 p.m. And mind you, it is like this accident happened at like 5:30. I'm at the hospital at like 6:30, and we don't ask this question until like 7:00 p.m. So we wait like probably about like an hour and a half. The realization soon comes to us that we are not going to be seen in this hospital for another 6 hours if we stay, And so, like, I just made the decision that I was gonna leave. So, like I left the hospital, and what I decided to do instead was to go to urgent care. And so, I decided to go to urgent care. So we decided to go to urgent care, and I get into the urgent care room, and keep in mind, I mean, I literally got diagnosed with a concussion at urgent care. In December. So like and I've had 6 concussions before. Like I'm a frequent flyer with concussions. So like I really I hate to be that guy, but I understand the protocol. And so I get to this urgent care, and I obviously have my own hopes and ideas of what might happen. But I'm banking on whatever they're gonna do for me. But what I'm really hoping is that they can either one declare me to have a concussion, or at the very least, they can help me like get a pre-clearance for a CT scan. So We get there to the urgent care, and the lady comes in, and she asks me about my situation, and I basically tell her everything I've just described to you, okay? About, possibly having a concussion, all that. And so she says to me, you know, oh, well, we're probably just going to have to send you right back to the hospital. And I am like, I really don't ever show like agitation or like irritability, out in like the public world that much. I am relentlessly nice. But I was like so irritated with this lady because I was just so fed up with the situation. Like, I knew my car was a total loss. Like, I literally had come to this exact urgent care a month and a half earlier, and had a concussion, got it diagnosed, and they sent me to physical therapy. And then here they're like, this nursing assistant was just really hesitant to like do any of the tests, and she kept saying she's gonna send me to the hospital, and like, so like I gave her some attitude or whatever, and it probably wasn't the best thing to do, but she went and talked to the doctor, and they came back and they said they were gonna do the assessment. So, so they ended up doing the assessment, thankfully, and they give me a advanced request to so now I've got the advanced order to go get the CT scan at a different emergency room. So we go out to a town called Okemos, where they've got a newer emergency room that they built in the past couple years, and it's not McLaren, it's Sparrow. Thank God, Sparrow U of M. So we hit up Sparrow U of M, and there's nobody in the waiting room. What a blessing, thank God. And they get us back pretty quick. They get us to our room. It's pretty quiet back there. We got our own room. Like it's a much better situation. They put me in another brace that's even less comfortable than the one I was in at the other hospital. But I'm not complaining because I'm actually seeing progress. And they end up take me back for my CT after probably about an hour. And then we have to wait for CT scan results to come back. So it's probably like we got to the hospital, this emergency room, probably at like 9:30. And I got into my CT at like 11 p.m. We didn't get the results back for the CT until about 12:31. So I didn't really get home until like 1:30 a.m., 1:40 a.m., and, my girlfriend was exhausted. Like, she got sick, actually, after the hospital stay. Like, she was just very sick for that whole week after. I was fortunate I didn't also get sick on top of a concussion, but it was still not an ideal situation. And so, I got diagnosed with a concussion. The very next day, insurance just started flowing, man. I mean, I just had to deal with like multiple insurance calls a day, like just trying to figure everything out. There was medical insurance claims, and then there was the auto insurance claim. And so I ended up just to kind of, close the story down a little bit. I ended up being able to. I got about $5,000 for my car. And with that $5,000, we were able to put it towards a new car. And then my grandma, bless her heart, based on where things are currently going in today's world, she's a little distrusting of banks and all that. And so she's been making more investments in family affairs, I think I would say. Kind of been helping my sister out financially with some stuff and helping my aunt out. And she, out of her incredible generosity, put forward $20,000 for me to buy a new 2025 Chevy Trax LS. And this opportunity is incredibly, incredibly amazing, and is truly to come out of the whole situation. And because I just got this car yesterday after kind of dealing with all this stuff since the 17th of February, and I honestly could not feel happier, or like the weight is just like lifted off my shoulders, because for a long time, it just felt like at least for like a couple weeks there, it felt like nothing was going right, like nothing was going right at all. And so we just were able to get a car finally. Um, just to touch back on the Jupiter thing, Jupiter went and stayed, or not Jupiter, Brody went and stayed with Alyssa's mom for like a week or two. And ever since he's returned to the home, Jupiter has been like perfect. No aggression episodes towards Alyssa, I, or Brody. He's been tremendous. It's been a complete turnaround. The person who crashed into me, the Tahoe, the person who started the crash, um, their insurance company called me about a week and a half ago, and wanted to do a settlement with me, and so State Farm actually gave me $2,000 in pain and suffering, which I didn't know they did that. I didn't know you could just get pain and suffering like that. So that went pretty hard. So and then kind of coming up, I think I spoke briefly on them earlier in the video, but I'm going to Florida here too. So everything's been getting better in my life, and then I'm going to I'm going to Florida here on March 20th, and I'm gonna be able to see some of my friends, Tyler and Joey. My girlfriend's gonna be able to meet, two of my friends. Maybe I'll see Alex down there too. Who knows? But I'm like really excited to go see my friends, and I'm really excited to go down to Florida and have good weather, and get away with my girlfriend for a bit, because Michigan has not been so nice to us this year. It's been a rough sled for both of us, and we're just tired. We're just tired, but I've been blessed by a pretty incredible gift. I've been blessed my whole life to have pretty incredible friends that I really need to stop ghosting all the time. Otherwise, they're gonna ditch my ass, because I've got some of the best friends out there online in my Discord, and I just sometimes I just have a hard time. I get socially anxious. One of my favorite streamers recently talked about how there's this perception nowadays with a lot of people where, the reality is that their friends 85% of the time like do want to like hang out with them, do stuff with them, but in your head, like if you're really feeling lonely, like you can make yourself think like, oh, they only want to hang out with me like 35% of the time, and then that leads to flaking, and then your friends want to hang out with you even less. And so I think it's a cycle that I find myself falling into. I think it's a really unhealthy cycle, and one that I don't think my friends ever liked, and it's probably been going on for my whole life. But I'm a hope there's a way to reduce it. So regardless, if anyone ever listens to this all the way through, I just want you to know that I appreciate it. I want you to know that you are appreciated, you are loved. Whatever we're all going through, at the end of the day, like, we're gonna come out the other side. We're gonna come out the other side, and we're gonna figure things out, And I'm just really thankful to have the friends that I have, to have the family that I have, to have my girlfriend, and just to be able to be in a good situation, in a pretty crazy world. So, special shout out to my boys, Tyler and Vinny. I really, really hope we can all hang out again here pretty soon. And to all my friends and everyone, sorry, I've been a bit of a flake lately. It's been some bullshit recently, so it's been some bullshit, but we're back on track. So thanks for listening, everyone, and who knows, maybe I'll make another one of these. But I'll catch you on the flip. Peace out.